Hola chicas, today you're going to be taking notes on this presentation. Please know that you can pause the presentation at any time and you can also listen to it again if you need to clarify something. So the topic of the presentation is la hora. What time is it? It's time to tell time. That's what we're going to learn today. You're going to learn how to tell time in Spanish. So if you want to know what time it is, what do you say in English? We say, what time is it? In Spanish, it's a little different. To say what time is it in Spanish, you actually say what hour is it. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué means what? Hora means hour, and es means is it. ¿Qué hora es? So let's take a look at this question. ¿Qué hora es? The word hora is the key word. Is that a singular word or a plural word? ¿Qué hora es? So since it doesn't end with an S, you know it's a singular word. That's why in the question, ¿qué hora es?, the verb es is singular. This becomes important when we answer the question. There's only 1 hour in the word in the sentence ¿qué hora es?, so therefore we only use the singular form of the verb es. So if we think about the way we answer, if we say it is 1 o'clock, it means it is 1 hour of the clock. And since we're talking about 1 hour, is that going to be singular or plural? 1 hour would, of course, be singular. So when our answer would use the verb es. So, ¿qué hora es? You would answer with the word es la una. You'll see this later. But if it is between 2 to 12 o'clock, well, it's 2 hours of the clock, or 4 hours of the clock, or 12 hours of the clock. Are those singular or plural? Of course, those are plural. So in our answer, we're not going to use the word es. We have to use the plural form of the verb in the answer, and that is the verb son. So, if I ask, ¿qué hora es?, and it is 1 o'clock or 1 hour of the clock, my answer uses the singular form of the verb, es la una. But if it's later than 1 o'clock, if it's any other hour of the clock, it's 2 hours of the clock, 4 hours of the clock, 8 hours of the clock, it's 9 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock, I have to use this verb here, son. So let's look at this clock. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 4. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 6. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 12. That means it is 12 hours of the clock, or it is 12 o'clock. ¿Qué horas son las 11? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7. So to recap, when you tell time, and when we're just talking about the hours, you use the singular verb es if you're saying it's 1 o'clock because you're talking only about 1 hour. But you would use the plural form, son las, if you're talking about the hours between 2 and 12, because those are 2 hours or 3 hours or 8 hours of the clock, and therefore it's plural. So now we're going to practice. Practiquen. I want you to write down the time in your notes. ¿Qué hora es? Es la una. It is 1 o'clock. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5. Moving forward, if you would press pause when you're supposed to write something down, that would be a good idea. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11. So it's 11 hours of the clock. Use the plural form. Son las 11. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3. But when we tell time, we don't always just say the hour. Sometimes we also talk about the minutes. So I might say, oh, it's 2:17 or it's 5:45. In Spanish, the way to do this is to use the word and. So if we have a time that includes minutes, like for 10:05, we would use the word and. We'd say it is 10 and 5. So, ¿cómo se dice and en español? Y. So now we're going to practice. ¿Qué hora es? See, it's 10 with 5 minutes. So you'd say it is 10. It's plural. And 5. Son las 10:05. This works all the way around the clock, by the way. We're going to learn some special ways to talk about this half of the time of the clock, but you can always say it's 10:45 or it's 10:56. Son las 10:56. That is acceptable. ¿Qué hora es? Remember to press pause. Es la 1:10. I threw a curveball at you. Remember, if it's 1 o'clock, you're going to use the word es. Okay, so it is 1 hour and 10 minutes. So, if you want to say like 7:30, if it's half past the hour, if it's 7:30, 6:30, 2:30, you can say and half in Spanish. The word for half in Spanish is medio. But since the word hora is feminine, so you're talking about a half hour, you have to, of course, have the word half match the feminine word hora. So you're going to use the word media. Okay? So remember that the key word is and here. If you want to say it's an hour, like it's 2 and half, for it's 2:30. ¿Qué hora es? Press pause if you need to. Son las 6:30. So notice it's 6 o'clock, so I have the plural form, son las 6. And then I've got minutes past 6, so I use the word and, y. And I could say 30 here. I could say son las 6:30. It is 6:30. That's perfectly fine. Son las 6:30. But I can also say son las 6:30. ¿Qué hora es? Press pause and write it down. Son las 9:30. So there are some special words for special times of the day. We have these same special words in English as in Spanish. The words are midnight and noon. And obviously that's when it's 12 o'clock. If you say it's 12 o'clock and you say the word 12, you would say son las 12. But if instead of saying it's 12 o'clock, you want to say it's midnight or it's noon, you're going to use these two words. So you would use, and because noon is singular and midnight is singular, you were going to go back to using the word es. So if you want to say it is noon, you would say es el mediodía, because noon is a masculine word. Es el mediodía. But if you want to say it's midnight, you'd say es la medianoche. ¿Qué hora es? So it's in the afternoon, 12 o'clock. Go ahead and press pause. Write down the correct expression for noon. For it is noon. Es al mediodía. ¿Qué hora es? Now it's in the morning, so it's going to be midnight. Write down the correct expression in your notes. Press pause if you need to. Es la medianoche. Notice medianoche is feminine, so that's why it's es la medianoche. Mediodía is masculine, so that's why it's es el mediodía. Both of them are singular, and that's why you use the verb es. So to summarize that, you use es when it is 1 o'clock, or when you say it is noon, or it is midnight. Otherwise, you're going to use the word son, because the rest of the expressions for time implied that it's more than 1 hour. So therefore, you'd use the plural form. Okay, so things can get a little tricky when it's past minute 30 of the hour. I want to remind you that you can always say it is 9:42. Son las 9:42. You can say that, it's totally legitimate. But people will also like to do a little bit of math. And so if I wanted to say that it is 9:35, I might say, literally, it is 10 minus 25, because the hour of 9:35 is the same thing as saying it's 10 o'clock minus 25 minutes. So the key word here is minus. ¿Cómo se dice minus in español? It's pretty close. It's menos. So we're going to practice. ¿Qué hora es? We see here that it is 5:40, but since we're past minute 30, we're going to say it's 6 minus 5, 10, 15, 20. It is 6 minus 20. Go ahead and press pause and write that down. Son las 6 menos 20. That's how you would say it's 5:40, or it's 20 to 6. Literally, it is 6 minus 20. Try this one. So we see here that it is almost 10 o'clock. It's 5 minutes to 10. So it's 9:55. So then we would want to say it is 10 minus 5. Press pause and write that down. So your answer should be son las 10 menos 5. Now when it's 15 minutes past the hour or 15 minutes before the hour, you can say the word quince, or you could also say the word for quarter. ¿Cómo se dice quarter in Spanish? Cuarto. Please be very careful not to confuse the word cuatro and the word cuarto. Notice the R and the T. It's very easy to flip these two. ¿Cómo se dice four in español? Cuatro. ¿Y cómo se dice quarter in español? Cuarto. Okay, so that's an area where you could make a mistake. So let's practice. ¿Qué hora es? We see that it's 2 o'clock and it's 15 minutes past 2. So press pause and go ahead and write what you think this is. Son las 10:15, or son las 10:15. Let's try this one. Now we have, it's 1 o'clock. Tricky, tricky, tricky. 1:15. Press pause. Es la 1:15. You could also say es la 1:15. Remember that why we use the word es? It's because it's only 1 o'clock. It's not 2 or 3 o'clock. Whoa, let's go back. Okay, sorry about that. All right, ¿qué hora es? We're running out of time. So here we have, oh no, it's 11. It's almost 11. It's a quarter to 11. So it's literally 11 minus 15. Son las 11 menos cuarto. ¿Qué hora es? So it's almost 1. Es la 1 menos cuarto. To talk about the afternoon, AM or PM, we will actually say of the morning, of the afternoon, and of the evening. De la mañana.